Yeah, might seem so short. Yeah, might.
Phew. Man, I'm sweating trying to get
Sweating.
this stream back up and running. I'm so glad we got a crew here that is very patient and working to figure this out. But we figured out the problem. Our mixer blew up, and now we got a new mixer thanks to Rachel. So we're live again. Thank you for everybody who tuned back in. We're going to be right back with our boy Hauka. You're watching Young Lion TV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding.
All right, we are back, and we appreciate everyone who's watching, everyone who's in the chat. If you're in the chat right now, just say a quick hello and make sure you like and share the video. If you're on Facebook and if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button and comment and send this out to somebody, share the video so we can get the algorithm moving for us. We got everybody in the building today. We got Jake with me. And matching my brother right there in the matching the dueling yellows. Man, lighting is terrible over there today. We got my boy James Garcia, the half black, half Indian with the Spanish last name.
Who did that camera?
And then we got Simone Chang
What up?
hanging out over there. So everybody, thank you for watching. We're gonna bring in a guest today. This is our first time trying to do Skype.
He's already in.
He's already in, but he's not live on the stream. We're going to bring somebody in on the stream.
He's not live on the stream.
Oh, he is live. You already brought him on. Okay. Oh, thanks.
Hauka's like, yeah, boy.
He's like, I'm here.
Huh? I can, but it was there the whole time. So I don't know what you got.
You gotta tell me these things.
But listen, I want to introduce who you're looking at right now already. Before I gave the introduction, is our boy from New York, our German brother. We've been working with him for a few years now. We met through a mutual friend, and we did a couple sessions together, a couple acoustic sessions, and then he brought us into a couple of the live events that he was doing in New York, and we kind of hit it off. And we've been working together ever since. So I want everybody to welcome our brother Hauka in the building. How you doing, man?
Hey. Doing good. I'm glad it worked out.
I know, man. It's crazy because this is our first time trying like this Zoom thing on the Wirecast, on the live stream. And it was working fine at first. Like we set it up with you. We did the call. We got everything working. And then literally right as we're about to go live, our mics just stopped working. And we couldn't figure out what was going on there.
It was the perfect sound and everything, but I'm glad it worked out, man. Thanks for having me, and nice seeing you all.
Nice seeing you.
It's good to see you too, man. We haven't been able to, be in the same building since, how long ago? We came to that event that you did in, what was that at?
30
NBC, right? NBC Universal.
Yeah, the NBC
that was
Universal event.
It was for the Black Employee Network. Yes, I'm seeing like screens. I don't know, switching back and forth. That was for NBC Universal, the Black Employee Network, and you guys came through as guests just to hang out and stuff. And it was a pretty dope event. I thought so.
Yeah, it was. It was a nice event. I mean,
yeah, it was cool.
You guys did your thing. So explain to everybody. You got to listen to NY in the background there. Explain to everybody like what it is you do and what the nonprofit is and everything that you're doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna start from the beginning, which is now over 10 years ago that I started a music blog. That's how we met. I started a music blog called Microphone. And I just had an idea where I wanted to share music that I personally like with people that have a similar taste in music. And it was supposed to be just a website just a blog where I can just, put out some music videos, some songs that I like, maybe write a couple of articles here and there. And when I came up with the name and the website, and I had a partner, his name was Whitney, and you guys met him. We created a website, and I wanted to do a little launch, like a website launch, and and that was actually how it kind of started to have live events, because I thought, maybe I can bring in a couple of singers, and we can do a little bit of live music, hang out, have some food, have some drinks, and it was just really nice. It was a nice event, and that's how I kind of had the idea. Oh, this is fun. Like, why not doing live events as well? And that's how I started the series at Rockwood Music Hall, where you guys been part of that as well, where I would have 3 to 4 artists each event. I have a host, the Barksman, who guides the audience through the show, through the event. And just been doing those ever since. So there's multiple parts, as you can tell. So
Right.
there's the website, there's the events, and then I did acoustic live music videos that I produced. That's how we originally met, when you guys came through to shoot a video, which was really, really dope, because that was one of those situations where we had another artist, Wayna, and you guys started. We did like a live performance that we recorded on the spot, where you guys actually mixed and mashed your songs. I think you sang one of her songs, and then she sang with you on one of your tracks. So that was
Actually,
super dope
the
as well.
song that was just playing as we went live, the song that was just playing was the song that we did with her at your microphone thing. She sang a verse on it and,
Yes.
and harmonized with us, and then we did one of her songs, which was cool. But yeah, that was the first time that we really worked with you, was at that session.
Right. And that was at a studio called Ishlab Studios, which
Right,
doesn't even
right.
exist anymore. That
Really?
that whole building got turned into condos, of course.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So yeah, another artist spot gone,
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I don't know. I did those shows for quite some time. I did the recordings for quite some time. Was building my music channel, YouTube channel, and as you guys know, it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears together.
Oh, we're losing you a little bit. We're losing
Yeah,
you.
choppy.
What were you saying?
Definitely, I was saying it was a labor of love, because it was a lot of work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that we put into recording. To make a long story short, at some point, I guess, and see how it was going to continue, because it wasn't quite going to where I wanted it to be.
Mm. Yeah, we're getting some audio and we're getting some choppiness now. What's going on? Why? Are you there?
I can hear you guys. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know
You
why.
want me to try?
Yeah.
Let me try to switch to another. Maybe the internet is a little faster. Just give me 1 second.
While he's switching that, I want to give a shout out to Tiffany, who's in there. She said, "Hey everyone, hope you all had a blessed Tuesday. Love you all, and stay blessed. Love hearing Jatan spelled wrong. Sing, sing. It's so beautiful.
You spell her name wrong.
How you gonna spell
Can you
our
hear me?
name wrong when it's right in the chat? Okay, yes, we hear you.
We love you too, Tiff.
Easy.
Okay, this might be better.
Okay, I think so.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, it's a little cleaner. It's
Okay.
just
So what was the last thing you guys heard? Because I felt like I was talking and talking and talking.
the last thing we
Labor
heard
of
was
love.
labor of love.
Well, I was saying that after doing it for years and years, you know, the shows, the videos, the recordings, I felt like it wasn't quite getting to where I wanted it to be. You know, I really went through, I guess what artists experience, you know, what you guys experience, what any artist out there has to go through, basically, just trying to make, you know, their work grow, trying to get an audience, trying to get the numbers up, and not trying to get burned out, you know, by doing so. So that's when I took a break, you know, tried to take a step back and look at what I had and see what else I could do with it, you know, trying to keep certain elements alive but do something new. And it was kind of backwards because I had the logo already, which I kept, you know, which is the Statue of Liberty with the mic in the hand.
Yeah.
And I wanted to come up with a new name because I felt like Microphone was an original name that, you know, people, once they got it, once they understood what it meant, they were like, oh, that's cool, you know, and they actually remembered the name. But I wanted something that was a little more connected to New York and to the logo that kind of describes the logo a little bit.
Okay.
So I came up with the name Listen to New York, which weirdly enough was also available as in social media and website and stuff. And
Wow, that was,
so I had a logo.
that was available?
Yeah, I know. I was surprised. So I had a logo, I had a name, but really no purpose. So, you know, but I knew I wanted to do something that would support, you know, not just artists, but the youth, you know, like the artists of the future, really. People that are up and coming, people that are just learning music, people that have an interest in music, people that maybe have musical talent or curiosity, but not the means to get into it. You know, no matter for whatever reason, like because they can't take lessons or they can't afford it, the actual instrument or whatever the circumstances are. So I tried to build a program around it, which was not an easy thing to do because you wanted to be something that's not already out there, and you wanted to be unique and helpful, and I felt like to even come up with a mission is quite a process, you know.
Right.
So I had a go at it last year where we wanted to teach teenagers about event management because I thought, you know, that's something I have experience in, to put, you know, shows together, to put events together in general, to give them an idea of all the different professions and positions that are within that field, you know, all the different jobs you can do, all the different things you can learn, all the different people that are involved, and to maybe have people realize, oh, this is something I could, you know, I'm interested in sound, or I'm interested in lighting, or I'm interested in the organizing part, or I'm interested in catering. I mean, there's so many different parts that belong to it. So I thought it'd be something where anyone could find something that they're curious about. But I also wanted to combine it with the life element, you know, of like the ones that are actually musically talented, to get them to be a part of the event, of the show, and maybe create like an event where they can at the final day, they can basically present something that they learned, and I was thinking about like connecting them with mentors, like from the music industry, mentors as an artist that like I would pair a drummer with a drummer teenager. I would
Right.
pair someone who is a vocalist with a vocalist and stuff like that. So I think the hardest part was to get that all on paper, and then the next hardest part was to actually find the actual students. To where am I gonna get the students? Like, how am I gonna put that out there? And I guess the easiest way would be through schools or through other organizations that already have teenagers on hand, that already working with the target group that we were trying to work with. And let me tell you, I mean, you probably, you guys have kids and stuff, and dealing with schools is a different animal.
Right.
Like, that was such a frustrating experience. It was definitely the hard way to learn, to even get in touch with anybody at a school.
What are some
No
of the
matter if it's
obstacles?
through-
Like just finding people to contact and who can
Yeah,
help
I mean,
you?
you can look up certain positions, and people that work like the parent teacher organization and stuff like that. So to get, you can look up the names, but once you're trying to send them an email, they hardly ever respond.
Right.
Like, hardly ever. And once you get them on the phone, if you get them on the phone, if you don't get some answering machine on the phone, if you leave a message, they're not gonna call you back. If you get someone on the phone, they, maybe they're like, oh, let me see, like, email, okay, let me check. And they're like, oh yeah, I found it, okay. And I was like, oh great, now you have the email, it would be great to hear from you, let me know what you think. And they're like, yeah, okay, sure. And then you never hear back.
Wow.
So, and I'm not saying like, get back to me and like provide what I'm asking for, but even if you don't like the idea, or if you can't help us at the moment, then let us know about that. It's not that difficult. You could just say like, hey, I saw your email. We'll keep it in mind, but it's not something we can work with right now, or whatever it is. But yeah, that was a really frustrating experience. So I don't know if that's if it's a New York thing, or if it's a school thing in general, or if it's a thing in the U.S. I don't know.
I mean, it's probably more difficult in New York, I would say, you know what I mean? Just because, I'm sure in a small town, it's easier to get in touch with people that, work in certain, I mean, you could talk to the mayor, you know what I mean? But it's different in a big city like New York, New York is dealing with a lot right now.
Yeah. I mean, that was way before COVID. So,
Yeah.
So now it's even,
But I think like you kind of go into the bureaucracy and who's helping who.
Right.
And if they don't know you, they don't want to have anything to do with you.
Right.
There's
yeah.
probably a lot of that going on too.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
can imagine
definitely.
the hurdles that you would run into trying to deal with that.
But it's also about communication. I mean, I understand that you might have, certain doubts, or you're apprehensive, but then just communicate that, Like,
Right.
I mean,
You should have went to the school and said, AOC recommended me to come to this school. They probably would have been like,
right?
okay.
I don't know
I don't
about
know.
that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they
I don't
hate
know
her now.
about that. I don't know.
because of the Amazon thing.
I don't know, but I did see. Did you guys? Speaking of her, did you guys see? I will ask you this too, Hauka. Did you guys see her proposal for the post office?
No.
Her idea for how we can save the post office.
No.
You guys
No, I
didn't see
just
that?
know that they didn't they confirm like a certain amount of money for the postal service.
Yeah, I think so. But a couple of days, I think it was yesterday. Maybe Rachel can find this video. I'm pretty sure it's all over.
Is it the Pelosi thing where they're all kneeling?
No. It's AOC was on her live stream like she does on Instagram. And she was like, I think I got this figured out, guys, a way we can fund the post office. And she says something about like the number one way the post office makes money is through stamps. So what she can do is put people together in a pen pal situation where we can just all have a pen pal, and then it will cause people to mail letters again, I guess, and that will fund the post office. It was hilarious because she was really dead serious, like trying to get people on board with this. But yeah, so maybe pen pals is the way. You know, send some letters to someone. She's her government economic policies are like from 5th grade.
I mean, the problem is if you were trying to do this chat right now that we're doing via post, it would take a little too long probably.
Right.
Especially right now. I had a few orders lately, and I'm waiting for my MacBook. I'm waiting for a cable that was supposed to arrive like at least a week ago, and that's one of the things that's coming through the regular postal service.
Wow.
And I don't even know, like, there's the tracking number is not really working. It still says like the label was created, and it's they're waiting for it to be picked up or something. I don't know.
Wow.
I have no idea where it is and when it's gonna get here.
Well, they lost or stole, because my thing was completely opened, and they sent it to me in a plastic bag with it my envelope open, but they lost or stole my passport and my birth certificate.
What?
That's crazy.
Because I needed the social security card.
They stole it. That's like,
I'm pretty sure they stole it.
yeah. How does it come
They opened up.
Yeah.
It was open, and it was through the mail. So
Yeah.
and it took them forever just to get in contact.
How long ago was that?
This was right before. This was like right into COVID, like in April, mid-April.
So there's a double ganger Jake out there.
Yeah.
I just got my new passport.
Yeah, I just got mine too. It took about 7 months.
Yeah.
6,
I
7 months.
usually ask my friends in Germany to send me some treats and sweets and snacks and stuff, but I'm not even gonna play with that right now because nobody's gonna steal my sweets.
So explain that to us. What are some German sweets that we can
Sweets and treats?
that we should try out?
Well, here's the disclaimer, because a lot of the chocolate and stuff that I grew up on, I call it German treats, but it's actually from like Italy and other places.
Oh, okay.
So not all the stuff I grew up on is actually made in Germany, but to me it's German. It's like a German product almost, because I'm just so used to it. It's
Right.
just like what you see in the supermarket every day, all day.
It's like us and Goya.
So, but what is German is Haribo, which is the gummy bears.
Oh,
the
is that
plastic gummy
German?
bears. Yes, hell
See,
yeah. What do you-
that's a prime example of like, I love gummy bears, and I always thought that was an American thing. So that's
You probably
German.
thought it was Japanese or something.
No, I thought it was American.
Yeah, because you grew up with it.
And we had a cartoon when we were younger called Gummy Bears,
Yeah, they're bouncing here
bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Everywhere.
That had nothing to do with those gummy bears, but
Listen, when we were kids, you get a pack of gummy bears and you thought you were in the cartoon. You know what I mean? That cartoon
I think
was
those weren't those gummy bears infused by something? Like, didn't they have that magic trunk?
Yeah, they
drink?
drank that
no,
magic juice.
they had gummy berry juice.
Yeah.
Yes,
They drank
and
gummy
they got
juice.
high of it.
Gummy berry juice, and they would hallucinate and think that they could fly.
Who wrote that?
So we know what was in there. Listen, we just did a whole episode on Pinocchio. We know where these cartoons come
I
from.
had none of that. I had to eat a piece of rock.
So Kinder chocolate, which is for example the surprise egg that is.
Oh, the
The
Kinder
legal
egg,
here?
the Kinder
Kinder
eggs.
egg.
My
Yeah.
daughter's obsessed with them.
Yeah. So apparently it was illegal here for a while, or you can't bring it in, you can't import it from Germany.
Really?
Yeah, because the small parts, the toy that's in there, like kids could, accidentally swallow it and die, or they could get sued and stuff. So, since
So you
America
can't-
is all about suing,
So you can't get it in New York?
you can't. No, you usually can't. No,
Because I just bought some like 2 days ago.
from your dealer.
Yeah.
They sell it in the
No,
supermarkets.
from
out here.
Wawa. From Wawa.
Has Arya been constipated?
Yeah, I know, right?
Do you know what Wawa is?
No, I don't.
No.
Yeah, that's funny. That's one of those things where, like, if you're from this area and, like, further south, even they opened one in Florida, Wawa is, like, huge, man.
Yeah, it's always 7-Eleven.
Yeah, it's a 24-hour convenience store, you know.
Gas station.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't know.
How long?
I
Have
just
you,
have my corner stores right here in Brooklyn.
how long have you been in the United States?
13 years now.
Oh wow, okay.
On there, Rach.
Yeah, quite some time. I mean, I've had the music blog. I started the music blog here
James is too.
in the U.S. You know, over 10 years ago when I was still working in TV and film production. I used to work in TV and film production before I had a couple of career changes.
Okay.
Where,
Go ahead.
where'd you work, if you can tell us?
So I used to work for a big production company in Germany, and when I came over here, I worked for a small production company called Black Watch Productions.
Okay.
And they did like, you know, commercials and like, yeah, TV ads and stuff, some documentaries and things like that. So that's where I was working for quite a long time. And then I started, I switched over to real estate because I had a friend in real estate that was basically saying like, hey, you know, if you get your license, I get you customers, you know, we'll be working together. And so I was like, okay, that sounds good. You know, it's something I can try and see if it suits me. And I ended up not even working with her because she was working for a company that was different to the company that I ended up working with.
Wow.
So yeah, but it turned out pretty. I was never really super passionate about it, but it turned out pretty nicely because I was working with a lady that was basically like a mentor, and she was super helpful and super supportive and generous, as in like sharing clients and stuff. So we closed quite a few deals together, you know, while I was working in real estate.
And then,
And then-
you did a flight. You were a flight attendant for a while. Well, you still are, right?
Well, yes. So then 5 years ago, I switched. I applied for a job at Delta and started as a flight attendant. Yeah, that's over 5 years ago. I just had my 5-year anniversary in May.
Wow. How's that job? I always wondered like what it's like to be on all these flights all the time.
Well, I personally, I love it. I have to say it's super exhausting, and it's definitely, you know, how they say it's a lifestyle. So you kind of have to really get used to it. And it's all by seniority. So you can, especially in the beginning, there's not so much choices of what you can work and stuff. But if you get familiar with the scheduling and everything, you can map it out pretty quickly and get yourself like some flights that you like and stuff. And then the longer you're working,
So
the
wait,
more years you
clue us in a
with the
little bit
company.
real quick though on that concept, because so like if you're the bottom of the totem pole, right? Where are you flying to where are you going all the time? Like where's the like the shit flights that you have to get on?
Well, a lot of people don't like the flights that go to, for example, to Orlando and stuff, like
Okay.
Disneyland, you know, the flights with a lot of tourists,
A lot of kids.
A lot of kids.
Then the flights that have a lot of cruise people on there.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
people
A
that
lot-
just
a
came
lot
from
of
a
what
cruise,
people?
you know, they
Cruise
feel like
people,
very
cruise.
entitled. They
Yeah.
feel like very spoiled, and they continue that feeling on the flight. You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
feel like you're still on a cruise.
As soon as they
People
get on
still
the
gotta
flight,
serve
it's
me and
time
shit.
for you to cater to them, right? That's how they feel. Like
Yeah.
we're on vacation. Cater to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those flights, and then the ones that a lot of people obviously want are like overseas flights, you know, layover in Germany, layover in Netherlands, layover in France, Italy. There's some summer flying where you have some beautiful destinations that people are really trying to get on. Then people want to fly to Japan and stuff because it gives you a lot of hours. You know, it's pretty efficient, and your layovers a little longer and nice. So yeah, but that comes with time. I was lucky because I I'm basically in the program for LODs, which is language of destination. So I'm a speaker, and I do the German translations, for the
Oh,
announcements and stuff. So that gives you, I call it like, that gives you some fake seniority, because even though you're still kind of new, you're already getting like a lot of trips to Germany and stuff. So for me, it's great because I can go grocery shopping, see some friends, see family and stuff like that. So, but it's only 24-hour layover, so it's not, it's not that much time.
Yeah, that's so cool though.
Yeah,
To
that's
go to
interesting.
different places.
I always wanted to ask them like about the job, but they're,
They're so busy.
another thing I always wondered was like, is the best flights to get the ones at night where people are sleeping or like real early in the morning, so you don't have to like wait on a bunch of people, like they're all knocked out anyway.
I mean, if you have like night flights or red eyes and stuff, obviously everybody's sleeping. But as a flight attendant, the challenge is to really stay up, to not get too tired and stuff. Because if there's nothing to do, like you kind of have to like you have to keep up somehow,
Yeah.
So that can be a challenge. Personally, I mean, if there's some work to do and stuff, the flights go by pretty fast, and you get to your layover quicker, or you get home quicker. So sometimes the flights that are super boring and there's not much to do, they can be the ones that really, make you feel like, oh my God, when it's gonna end.
And I know
So, yeah.
you have to get tired of doing the safety routine every flight. Like,
Well, the good part is that by now a lot of these flights have the automatic announcements, so people can just watch it on the video, and you just have to.
I love those flights.
He's not on Southwest.
That's right. Not on South or Spirit, right? Spirit, boy. Woo. Yeah. No, but I love those flights.
I think there's only very few planes now with Delta that don't have a video screen. So then you have to do the manual demonstration, which is definitely something you have to get used to in the beginning. But later on, it's like brushing teeth or whatever. It's just part of your job.
Right. Makes sense. Okay, so something I've always wanted to ask you and talk about is your experience here in the States, and like what age were you when you came here?
Well, I'm 41 now. I'm turning 42 on Saturday. I came here about 13 years ago, but before that, I was already coming back and forth.
Okay.
So I don't even know how long ago now, but probably my early 20s.
So what were you coming back?
First time?
What were you coming back and forth for?
I was just kind of bored of Germany, and I wanted, I really liked New York. I liked the things, I felt like it was a place where I would never get bored of anything. There would always be something to do for me. So
what part of Germany? What part of Germany are you from?
I was born in Hamburg, a city called Hamburg, which is in the north of Germany.
Mm-hmm.
But I lived in different cities. I lived in Hamburg. I lived in a city called Bremen. I lived in a city called Cologne, and a city called Kassel. So I moved quite a bit.
Okay.
Just
know
because
all these cities because of soccer.
because of my parents.
Yeah, Jake knows all those cities because of soccer.
Of course.
The only reason why I know.
So yeah.
But what was it? So when you were younger in Germany, you just had like, what made you aware of New York? Was it through movies or TV or just like?
I always liked traveling, so I started traveling quite early, and I was lucky enough. I was fortunate enough to be able to go to Australia for the first time in 1999. Sorry.
Those great New York sounds behind you right there.
I know. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I think 1995 is the first time I actually went to Australia, and just traveling in general. At some point, when I was on my way to Australia again, I went from Germany through. We did like a little trip through San Francisco, and not San Francisco, my bad. Through Boston, and when I was in Boston, because we had like friends of my brother they lived in Boston, so we went to visit them, like a friend of mine and I, and that's when I decided to take like one of those Chinatown buses from Boston to New York just to check it out. I was like, I'm already in Boston, so I'm gonna check out New York. And
Yeah.
I came to New York on the Chinatown bus basically and checked it out. It was quite overwhelming the very first time I came to New York, but I guess I was just fascinated. And I like big cities. I've always been a city person. I'd rather be in a city somewhere on a basketball court than like on a beach bored in the sand. I don't know why. That's just me.
I like to be bored on the beach.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought New York was fascinating, and I kept coming back. And at some point, when I was really kind of bored of Germany and of the things I was doing there, and sort of the mentality and everything, I was able to arrange an internship in New York for that production company that I was working for later on. So that's how it all started. And I guess when you come to New York, you really have to hustle hard and really find ways to make money and make enough money to be able to afford a place,
Right.
to afford rent and stuff. And I always say New York makes you try out things and do things and be creative that I don't think I would have ever done any of what I'm doing right now or what I did in the past here in New York. I don't think I would have done any of that in Germany, to be honest. I don't think I'd be a flight attendant. I don't think I would have worked in real estate, because also those things are very different in Germany. It's just like the industries are a little different, and circumstances and pay and flexibility and stuff like that. So, and I don't think I would have ever did the music thing in Germany, to be honest, because there's just so many artists in New York and in the US in general that you can work with and that you can connect with, and especially in New York, that you can work on projects with. I think you would run out of artists, at least the type of music that we like. You would run out of artists in Germany at some point, and I never felt that way here in New York, and just the vibe, honestly. For some reason in Germany, there's a little bit of you guys might be surprised, but there's a little bit of pessimism. People
Right.
are like a little more reserved, and they're like, oh, you're doing this and that. Like, is that gonna make enough money, or are you gonna survive on that, or is that a safe job, or is that does that job have
It's
a
like
future?
that here too.
Yeah, it's like that here, but I hear what you're saying. I remember Trevor Noah talking about that. His dad's German, right?
Yeah, he's just Germany.
And he was talking about how when he told his dad, "Oh, I'm doing these big comedy shows," and all his dad said was, "Oh, so you're a clown." You know what I mean? Like, how do you?
Yeah, like I feel like when you say in New York, you say to someone, "Hey, I wanna start a blog, or I wanna start a nonprofit organization, or I wanna record videos." People are like, "Oh yeah, you should do that." Like definitely try it out. Like, okay, how can I help? Or you should talk to this person. You should talk to a friend of mine. Do you know of such and such? Like, people just they encourage you, and
There's a lot of
doesn't feel
resources
fake.
there.
Say it again.
I said there's a lot of resources there to tap into.
There's a lot of resources, and people really encourage you. I feel like there's the spirit, especially in New York. Maybe it's a little different right now, but in general, people just encourage you to do stuff, and they want to see people succeed. They want to see people doing projects and working on stuff, so I always liked that. I always thought there was an audience and people that you meet and friends and stuff that, are really supportive and trying to encourage you to go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and do it. Try it out.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you about that too. Now with the vibe in New York and with all these people that there's been like this mass exodus, and all the like venues and businesses are kind of shut down right now. What is the vibe there from your perspective as someone inside the city? Because what we're hearing is that like a lot of people are like, well, what's the point of being here if I can't access the things? The reason why I move here and pay such high rent, the reason why I'm paying so much to be in this city is because of the resources. So if I don't have access to that, what's the point? But what's your perspective on all of that?
Well, I'm in a position where right now I'm taking a time out from being a flight attendant. Just a lot of us basically took voluntary leave to help the company. Maybe to take a breather, to be like maybe evaluating the situation, see what's happening. I personally did it also because I just wanted to see how it all turns out. What's the whole hype about? How dangerous is it really? I didn't want to be up in the sky and trapped in one of our planes, and not really knowing what was going on. So I'm in a position that unless the company is going down, which we don't think so, and we don't hope, there'll be a job again at some point. In a few months from now, you can go back to your job, and people will be flying again at some point.
Right.
So I have a reason to stay here, and obviously through the unemployment benefits and stuff, you can get over the hump and just lean back and focus on some other things. But that's just my personal situation. I feel like what you were mentioning, apparently there is a lot of people that are moving out of town because they just don't feel like there's a need to live in New York right now, or they just don't want to deal with all the craziness that comes with a big city in a situation like this. And it was definitely surreal for the first, I would say 3 months, because it was like just everything was so quiet, and there was nothing going on. Everything was shut down. I personally was a little super careful in the beginning because you're not quite sure what you're dealing with, so you're just making sure to stay healthy and stuff. And it was definitely a surreal moment, and I can imagine that for a lot of people, it must be, the kind of like the push over the edge, and they just have to do something, leave, go to family, or either leave the country or leave the city, go to a different state, whatever it is. But I was really trying to make the best out of it and trying to see how I can use this time to maybe acquire some new skills, work on music. I took my concert series that you guys also been a part of at Rockwood Music Hall.
Yep.
Took that concert series and basically created an online version of it, which is the Acoustic Gold Home Edition, with our host, which is the Marksman, as I mentioned earlier, and contact artists all over the world, ask them to do a set for the show, have them send it to me, show it to the Marksman so he can do his announcements and can react to it accordingly. And then I would take all those videos and edit it together, which I had to learn because, I didn't know video editing,
right?
Just maybe very few basics from iMovie or something. So I've been learning some Portuguese. It's super random. I just like the sound of the language, but I've been doing Duolingo just to challenge my brain, just to stay stimulated and stay active and not to freak out and just sit here and maybe get lethargic, depressed and fat.
Right. Yeah, that's the hard part.
I'm trying to avoid that.
But so the stream that you do is every Sunday, right? Sunday night.
Right.
And we were a part of that
Sunday.
as well. Every other Sunday.
Every second.
Right. We were a part of that as well. And I remember when you hit me up about it, I was like, okay, I can't just send him, some as of course, just like our podcast here, like we always are like, how can we do this on another level? You know, we can't just do something in front of a webcam. So we got to put together like a dope video to send to him, and we did 4 videos. But then you sent me a message like, "Oh, keep it under 12 minutes." So I sent you 2, and I remember you just being like, "Oh man, this is like a full on, music video production."
Yeah, like I guess don't do a podcast unless you can blow up a mixer in the process.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like we're always pushing the limits.
No, I actually appreciate that. You guys have always been super motivated. Whenever I contacted you about something, you guys were always like down to collaborate, to work together, to like show up and no matter what it is, to support, to lend your music to the audience that we have and stuff. So I really appreciate that. And I'd rather have you overdo it than do it half-assed. So I'm not complaining.
No, we had to do it right for you. We appreciate.
What is he looking at?
He's trying to fix something.
Jamie's always.
I was trying to see if we could pull up the video we did for you.
Oh, yeah. No, that was nice though. I mean, people really liked it. Definitely.
Yeah, it was cool. Like we never get to, while we're doing live stuff, we never really get to be in the chat engaging as much. So like because that was pre-recorded and then you aired it live, we were able to watch it while we were in the chat, and
Yeah,
we were
that
just
was
able
cool.
to engage with people. So that was cool.
How long ago was this?
Yeah, a lot of people think.
How long?
A lot of
When did
people-
we do this?
How long ago?
Yeah.
Like June?
That was
No,
a
it
couple
was
of months ago, right?
Was
I
it
think it was in June.
June 28th? I think, if I remember correct.
That's a couple of months.
Yeah,
It was cool too when we shot it. We haven't seen the guys in a while.
yeah. That was our first time like getting together with the band again and putting that together. And then the challenge.
How many camera operators you had? You had like 2 cameras? Or?
We had 3 cameras, just like we
3?
do.
Oh,
Same
my
3
goodness.
we're using right now. We had 3 people on those, and then we had a couple people monitoring audio, capturing everything live, and then just mixed it after the fact and edited after the fact.
And you had, I think, 2 artists chiming in from basically recording their part
Right.
somewhere else and then mixing it in.
Yeah, so we took our live recording and then sent that to the guitar player and the saxophone player, and then had them basically do their parts live and then send me the video of them doing their parts live, and then I edited all that in, and then tried to make it look
I mean,
presentable for you.
you guys are already good with video editing. You guys already have experience with that. You guys are already good with sound and lighting and stuff. So you're like your own production company. But it's amazing how artists really had to learn quickly how to like put together a decent stream or how to record themselves with a decent sound. You know?
Absolutely.
I never really care so much about the video. I care more so about the sound.
Yeah.
But if it's both, great. Hey, I take it.
Yeah, that for me, it starts with we gotta sound good. Like if you have the most amazing video and the audio is trash, or like even the songs aren't good, then it doesn't matter. It just ends up looking cheesy.
Exactly.
But we had fun, and I'm glad you made us do that, or you pushed us to do that, because it gave us some more content to show people as well during this whole time. And we've been blessed because we have a studio here. We have a facility where we can come to, and we have a recording studio on the 3rd floor. We can still work on music. We can do our podcast every week here, and never have to worry about going somewhere that's shut down. So it's been a blessing.
Yeah. Plus, with all these people it's all about content creating. Especially since so many things are online now, or even more so than before. Having the skills of editing and sound engineering and stuff like that it's not going to hurt you at all. I mean, that's just going to ensure that you'll have jobs to do and you get paid.
Right. Well, you're thinking about getting into you were talking to me about maybe getting into the streaming game.
Yeah, so the thought is the marksman and I, we've been doing the ninth episode is coming up this Sunday at 9 p.m. We're doing like a Facebook watch party, as you mentioned. And I said, let's do 10 shows and see where it goes and take it from there and see if we want to continue or not. But I have quite a few submissions still, so I definitely have to do more than 10 shows,
Wow.
which is a good problem to have.
Yeah.
We've been featuring artists from, obviously the US, from the UK, from different parts of Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa. In this upcoming one, there's a guy from Gambia. We're going to have a lady from Mauritius, which is a beautiful island that just had like a tragic oil spill right in front of the island. I don't know if you guys saw it in the news.
No.
No.
Yeah,
Mauritius?
if you look it up, it's pretty tragic. I think some I don't know if it was a Japanese ship, but something completely broke in two parts and in front of Mauritius, and like basically like an environmental catastrophe.
Wow.
So, yeah, and then who else do we have? Definitely have some more submissions from South Africa in the future. So it's just cool to be able to work with all these different people in different countries that you could only work with in person, when they happen to be in the city and they happen to come through and the timing is right, which is what are the odds really. But I've been super blessed to work with crazy talented people, really amazing artists from different walks of life. So it's a lot of fun, and I'm super passionate about music. I just love it, and it's that's definitely a passion project and fun to be part of. And it would be nothing without people like you.
Thank you, man. Well, we always,
Yeah,
we're always down to do some stuff. And if you ever need us to like help out with, the nonprofit in any way, let me know. We're always in contact.
Yeah, there will be. I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm working with two different artists. One is a singer-songwriter, Nicholas. He's been part of the series as well, and he's been part of the Rockwood sessions as well. And then there's another artist who's also a producer and keyboardist. His name is Aaron. They approached me because they wanted to do something for, let's say, late teens, early 20s, for students that have limited access to music education, production, and some other subjects that we're talking about. So we put together a one-pager with, a program that we would like to do via like virtual, via Zoom or one of those webinar options, and put it out there, while we still have the situation going on and we can't do it in person. So that's something that should be coming up soon. We're talking to a few people, also trying to gain access to students that other people are already working with. And that's definitely something to look out for on listentonewyork.org, because that will happen. It just takes time to develop and make sure everything is straight. But that could be something where you guys could come in as, like a guest feature.
Yeah.
You can talk to the students about different things, being an artist, about singing, about playing instruments, about the production side of it. So definitely be in touch about that.
Yeah. Sounds good, man. All right. Well, let everybody know like where they can catch the streams, where they can see what else you got going on. I know you want to go eat dinner because we held you up a little bit, so we're gonna let you go. But let everybody know where they can find you.
For sure. Definitely a pleasure talking with you guys, and we'll keep in touch anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
You guys won't get rid of me so quickly.
All right. So where can they catch you though? tell them about the
website,
pages. Like
yeah.
what are the pages?
Oh, yeah,
what are
yeah.
the handles?
I thought you were gonna put it put it in there.
No,
We
So
will, but
the
maybe. Depends on if our
website-
equipment is acting.
The website is really the only one that's spelled out. So it's listentonewyork.org.
Okay.
There's also a little blog section, which is kind of like a microphone leftover. There's a blog under news where I put some industry articles, put some videos, some music suggestions and stuff, and you can sort it for whatever you're looking for. That's the website, and then we have anything on social media, so Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Everything is listen to NY, and you'll find the information for the next show and the flyer and stuff. Everything will be posted there. But if anybody's interested in tuning in this Sunday, it'll be at 9:00. Just go on our website. You'll on the Facebook side, and you'll see the information on it and stuff. And you can join us. We'll be in the chat with the artists, and it's just it's a lot of fun. It's like a little social, happening.
social
While
gathering.
still staying at home, obviously, and it'll be some. I'm super excited about the artists that are going to be part of it on Sunday. So, if you enjoy acoustic live music, it's something that you'll definitely, I think, know how to cherish.
Yeah, if you miss going to venues, if you miss seeing live music, especially acoustic music from singer-songwriters, people that are really passionate about music, this is a great thing to watch. We were a part of it. You can go back and check the episode that we did it's on your YouTube channel as well, right? So they can catch it on
Right.
there. We actually are going to be posting those videos on our page as well. But we appreciate you, man. It was great talking to you. We got to do this again sometime, bring you back on at some point. And we'll holler at you later, man.
Yeah, for sure. Next time we'll invite the Broxman as well.
Yeah, let's bring
because
him
he has,
on.
like his own projects going on and stuff, so it'll be fun.
Cool,
He's a good person to talk to as well.
Sounds good, man.
Alrighty.
All right, Al.
Love you guys.
Love you too, man. Take it
Good
easy.
one.
Always.
Is he a boxer?
Is he a boxer?
No, I said you said a boxer.
What?
The last part you said I'll bring on the boxer.
No,
No,
he
no,
said
no,
the marksman.
the
That's
marksman.
that's the host that
okay.
the host that does his live streams, and he hosts all his events like at Rockwood Music Hall, all the live events that he does. He hosts them. Yeah, so that was cool. That was Hauke, everybody. Been working with him for a while. I want to say what's up to a bunch of the people in the chat. Steve Hansberger, Avatai, Frank Cunningham, Michelle Ramo, Vicky Prince, James Fisher, Melissa Dobbins, Alex Curtis. What's up, everybody? Bridget Campbell. Make sure you guys like and share this video. So, what's up, y'all?
Willis Cooper's watching.
Willis Cooper, what's up, man?
Our boy from high school.
So, James,
What's up?
how you been, man?
I'm good, man.
Work's been good. You've been working a lot.
I've been working a lot, man. Crazy,
Yeah.
busy.
It sounds like his mic is
Yo,
low.
that coloring is so different.
This
Mic number 3. Maybe turn up his gain a little bit. The white knob at the top.
turn me up. Give me some.
Give him some juice.
Yeah, I've been busy, man. Been
Yeah?
busy.
Some juice.
Has
Lot
it,
going on.
Is it? I was telling Dave because Dave wants to get some steps done at his
Okay.
house. He was like, "Yo, man, tell your brother." I'm like, "He's been busy, man." He's like, "Everybody's spending that COVID money."
Yeah, yeah. I think too. A lot more people are staying home and they're attempting projects
yeah.
and they're failing miserably.
And they're failing. Yeah, because when you go,
Yeah.
and I remember every time we went to Home Depot, like when your dad was building that thing,
Yeah, it's always busy.
busy and all the material's gone.
Yeah.
That you can't get no material.
There's a lot of failed projects.
Yeah.
a lot of failed projects.
So they're calling you in to fix,
Yeah,
clean up the job.
Yeah.
And then they want it for half price. They're like, "Look, brother, can you
Ain't
help me
that
out?"
the
Look,
truth,
I already
man.
did half
Ain't
of the
that
work.
truth, man? Listen, people show me all the time. They show me like high-end pictures.
Yeah.
And I was like, you do know Google's algorithm this is like a multi-million-dollar kitchen.
Yeah.
You want
a multi for can I get this for $1,500?
it always happens, man. It always happens, But no, yeah. Listen, I'm thankful, man.
Yeah.
I was worried a little bit, because when it first started, I mean, everybody shut down.
Yeah.
But I was worried a little bit, but it picked up, man.
That's good, man.
Even Dad is running and gunning. 75,
Yeah.
He's been
Like
busy.
the president.
Man. Yeah. He's been doing well.
Your
man.
dad's been doing good, man.
Yeah.
Like he's loving his little garden.
Yeah.
He was picked all his cucumbers today, man.
Yeah. Killing rabbits.
Killing them rabbits out there with a slingshot. He was out there, with a slingshot, killing rabbits. First shot, boom.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, man, I'm thankful, man. I'm thankful. It's a good problem to have.
Man.
To be busy and get back out there. That's the one thing about like a skilled trade. I feel like, no matter what happens,
That's never gonna go away. People are always gonna need someone
always
that
gonna
can
need
build
someone,
some shit or push
Even
and fix some
during
shit.
apocalypse.
I'll be building something. That's why I
have to
told
build
Jamie,
some-
start the village, man.
Yeah, man. So do we got anybody in the young? I'm in Ichitan. Anybody
I'm
in the
in
Young
Young
Lion?
Lion.
Okay.
Will-
That's where Willis was.
Willis, yeah.
Okay. So Jake had some stuff that he posted up that we were going to get into. I know it's late because we got started late because of the technical stuff, but we can talk, we can bang through it a little bit. You know what I mean? Because we're gonna talk about like what I put in the thing was the psychology of sound and how sound and music can be used to pull you into an emotion.
Of course.
It's done all the time through movies, through TV, just through, like, you think about it, horror movies, there's a science to those tension chords that they play during those eerie moments to
Yeah.
make you scared.
Jaws.
Yeah,
You always
Jaws.
remember Jaws.
Yeah. Yeah.
Effects.
Yeah.
Affection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing.
Well, they got to rope you into the experience. So that's
That's part of it, but it's also used to, like, this is what we want you to feel about it. You know what I mean? So it's not just like, this is a better experience. No,
So-
we want you to feel this way.
Are
So
you
we're
t-
going
are
to
you
use the
telling-
music
are
to
you
make you
telling
feel
us,
this way. You know what I mean?
Is Wizardry?
Oh yeah, there's
Is
definitely
that what you're telling
there's
us, Jay?
there is a ton of wizardry
Right.
involved in music
Right.
and its effect on your psychological state.
yeah.
And
But isn't that like part of being a human being though? Taste, sound, smell, like those are the things
yeah,
that you're naturally like. My
Right.
daughter, I'm watching her, and it's Elise 2.0, Frozen.
yeah,
And she's in love with it, and it's like I'm watching her experience.
right, because it's an innate thing that's in us to tap into the emotion of sound and song and
Right,
music.
right. It's
but-
built into us.
So when
But
people,
enhanced
when
by those,
people,
yeah.
but when people understand that, and then they turn it into a science of manipulating you now, you know what I mean? If they can put on, they know that like when they put on that commercial in the middle of the night with the puppies and Sarah McLachlan singing, they know that they know that that's going to get them donations.
Right,
you know what I mean? When
right.
you hear, if they put that to like, there's some hoes in this house, it would
not
totally,
happening.
it would ruin the commercial.
There's a video. It's like the second one down, with two guys talking. I don't know how it was. The
Thanks,
second, 'cause it was
Jamie.
the first thing.
Listen, that's empowering. Haven't you heard WAP?
This goes
Jeez,
nowhere.
We just talked about it last week.
But yeah, so this video is about some stuff that happened with Drake and his newest.
That might be the wrong. It should be the last channel to hear. Why are they all so noisy?
So it's speaking about Drake just dropped a single. Don't know what it is.
I don't see it.
Don't really care.
We don't
but
see it.
so these are some Christian rappers that are talking about it. But I thought it was really
Christian
interesting.
rappers talking about Drake's.
Right, because he kind of his photo or like the picture for the single it seems like he took it straight from these other Christian rappers.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it was
So
like
stolen.
basically.
Right. Okay.
So it's very interesting.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So let's.
So let me ask you this. So yesterday or the day before, I did a video. On the new Drake song. A lot of people hate me right
Lost
now
it
because they
again.
think I hate Drake.
I hate you because you hate Drake.
Which I don't. I like Drake. And on the video, it was addressing, I don't know if you saw this. I'll pull this up for you. It was addressing Christian hip hop, wilding out and saying that Drake copied Andy and Words Played. So, have you seen this?
So those are the two
Have you
videos.
seen that?
One, I mean,
So
pictures.
I did
One
this
on the
video
one
and
was
people
Drake
were like,
and one
"Oh, Drake can't,"
the
and
Christian
people were like, "Oh, Drake can't copy Magic and Bird because Drake is a big deal and he's very popular, and popular stuff is the best because it's popular, right?" And so that was one response I got. Another response I got was a lot of people saying, "Hey, Christian rappers as a whole have been copying secular rappers, right?"
That's
and my
true.
challenge at the end of the video was, hey guys, like, you're really copying a copy of somebody else, right? And I'm not to say like Drake is like completely biting everybody else, but Drake definitely pulls from a lot of inspirations, right? And I was like, yo, I think it'll serve a lot of people good to take a break from a Drake, right? To find their own voice, find their own sound, find their own melodies. My issue isn't with Drake taking inspiration from Words Played and Andy Mineo. My issue is, the deeper issue is, we are supporting a man who's in his mid-30s.
Yeah.
Drake is a year younger than me, or maybe 2 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Who is
Stop
talking
crinkling
about
that.
in the chorus of the song, he is talking
I
about
did a half. She did a whole
yeah,
thing.
he's
Slow down.
talking about popping pills. 34-year-old man talking about popping pills, talking about getting blackout drunk, and the Christian community by and large will eat it up. So let me ask you this. First question is, why do you think that is? You made a point earlier offline that I thought was interesting, which you were basically saying like you think a lot of us just aren't even listening to the lyrics.
Yeah.
You want to expand on that?
I mean, he pointed that out. I was like, yo, I'll put it like this. I
This is what
listened
want
to
people
that
really
song
Focus on.
yesterday alone, probably about 11 times. Right now, I cannot tell you what that song is about. I
Thought that was very
cannot
interesting.
tell you what that song is about. Now, I like the song.
How do you like a
It's a
song
catchy
but you don't know
It's
what
fan.
it's about?
It's fan.
That's
I like
we
Drake.
listen. We talk about
I
this
don't know what it's
all.
So I
the
think that's
time.
a point. And I was talking with Andy about that too. He was like, I was telling him about the kid Leroy. He was like, yeah, man, like he's dope, but he's like, there's a lot of stuff that people are talking about nowadays. It's like I can't get behind.
Yeah.
And then he said that, and I realized, man, I have no idea what his content is. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like that's interesting that I've been listening to Leroy for like a month, 2 months now, and like I know he be talking about girls, and that's the extent. But I feel like even, I mean, that's true to the point where like even now in our space, right, in our like circle, as small as it is, it's like people will write songs where it's like you just have no idea what the song is about. I don't know. Some of my homies that make music, I mean, I love that song. I got no clue what you're talking about. I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. Yo, what's the song about? Man, he just, it's just rap stuff, man. He just doing his thing. Like, that's really what I say.
Yeah.
And I love the song. There's no knock to my homies that do that. But I mean, like, to say this, though, that's also sometimes because people go really deep with the concept. But then there's sometimes they're just talking about nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess
but do
we
you
can
think
stop
that's
it.
the problem,
He's-
though? Like, that so
he
many
kinda
of us
says it.
aren't really...
Like, do you think that's the problem that we're not really listening? And that's what I wanted to really get into, like the subliminal, subconscious, where he really just likes the music because of the sound or the frequency that he's used to and has been listening to.
and the energy and the vibe of
Right,
it.
the vibe, the frequency,
It supersedes
the tone.
It supersedes the lyrical content
Right.
that seeps in.
And the fact that he can say that, and in terms of accountability, like this guy is doing music and he might be responsible in terms of what he's writing, but he's not really responsible, because really, like, he's just doing the same thing everybody else is doing and just putting his words on it. But then subliminal, he's just putting out the same type of music,
Right.
you know. And it's just like what he just
Right.
like, it's I can do all that here at one time and know what they're gonna do, because they all do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even realize that the melodies are the same, because everybody just does it, and it becomes subconscious to a mind, and that's why it's like, oh yeah, I like that
That's
song.
why
How can you
people-
like
it
a
sounds
song?
familiar. It sounds, you know,
Right.
Oh, I heard that before.
And my point is, like, how can you like a song and be an artist but have no accountability for the stuff you're putting out or for the stuff you're listening to? Like, how can you like Drake in terms of what he's putting out and listen to his stuff, and then you call yourself a so-called Christian rapper?
Right.
That doesn't, those two things should not be, you know. And even if you say, oh, it's not about the lyrics, it's about the music, but even the music has to do with that. So that's kind of the point. And as in terms of a musician, in terms of a artist or creating things, what I'm realizing is a lot of people aren't responsible for the music, or even having a grasp of knowledge or understanding of what they're doing.
Right.
But they're just taking it because they like it and flowing. And in
Well,
that,
how much have you heard this is what's hot right now?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but not
that-
having a basis for why it's hot. Like, not understanding the chords that go behind it,
Right.
what everybody is doing, the melodies that every single person is singing that's almost the same exact thing. And so they don't have anything, and they think they're being creative and flowing in some magical place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But really it's not. You're just doing the same thing, and you can be fooled if you don't have the basis for that.
Dude, James's sister yesterday, not to take you off track, this is on track.
Yeah.
She sent us that parody of the WAP video, and it's actually, like I said, I responded like, this is actually better than the real song, because it was like WAP stands for Wings and Pizza. And it was by this girl named Lardy B. She's like this overweight
Weird
girl.
Al Yankovic.
Yeah,
we
it's
gotta
like,
play it. We gotta play it.
see if you can find that. It's called Lardy B WAP.
Right.
But
But
what I was gonna say is, all she does is insert other lyrics over those same flows that you hear everyone do, like that.
but it's just about food.
But because it's about food, because it's made ridiculous, it kind of shows you.
Rolls? Are these rolls?
It shows you how if you put anything to that rhythmic pattern,
Said you know I like to eat.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
11 days a week. Wings and pizza. Stuff that crust with extra cheese. Yeah, we feasting on some wings and pizza. I'm so hungry, I can't stop. Bring that wings and pizza.
there's like, how many songs have you heard with that? It's like Cardi B raps like that.
What did we used to do just to clown around when we used to tour?
Yeah, we used to make up songs.
Make up songs.
About bullshit that was the flow of the time. Yeah. Yeah. So you get the idea. It's like a whole parody of it. But it's like all you gotta do is insert lyrics to this flow, and that shit slap, yo. You know what I mean? That's what everybody says. You know what I mean?
Catchy.
Yeah. You know?
Part of it too is tied to youthful ignorance, which is they just want to belong. So when you're younger, you don't want to feel left out.
Right.
So when you hear an artist and someone says, because I feel like it happens in this culture more, because the United States is a trendsetter in culture. So an example of that would be, yo man, you heard the new Drake song? No, I ain't heard it. Man, you ain't heard about it? Dang. And so immediately you're like, God dang, I gotta. So you
Let me go listen to
so
it.
that's how
Right.
it's like a typical
They shame
behavior
you.
Right.
to make you
Shame.
feel like, oh God, I'm missing out. Man, you seen it? Like, look, remember when that Popeye's chicken sandwich
the
came
chicken
out?
sandwich, yeah.
People had reaction videos to that.
Yeah.
And people were just like, yo, did you see? It's hilarious. And you're like, it's just people eating chicken sandwiches and acting like it's the best thing they've ever.
Meanwhile, like, think about it. Where did that go? Chicken sandwiches. Now they got storehouses filled with chicken sandwich. You can't sell them for nothing.
But I think it's you that thing of not feeling left
and
out.
it's not just now. Like, let's
No.
be clear.
No.
Like, this
No,
has
no,
been
no.
going
For a
on
long time, yes.
for a long time.
Right,
as
right.
soon as music became mass marketed,
Right.
there you saw that that concept of
Right.
okay, this is the sound we're all chasing now.
Right.
Okay, this is this like you can listen to when we did the PBS thing, and when you look at all of those
Right.
back in that time when doo-wop was the thing,
Yep.
they all sound the same.
Right.
They're all doing the same melodies,
Same
the
thing.
same style of
Same thing,
harmonies.
man.
You know what I mean?
Same thing. Listen, I proved it to Dad. I proved it to my father. He was talking about music, and I read him the lyrics to "Strangers in the Night."
Yeah.
A stranger in the night,
Without the melody
without the
attached
melody,
to it,
let's
just the
read
lyric.
without the strings
He
and
did
the
a Ben
orchestral.
Shapiro. He did a Ben
Dad, listen to this. Really? I read him "Strangers in the Night" without the melody, and he's talking about a prostitute.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about.
Right.
You know, "Strangers in the Night," wondering by chance if we
What's the
could
difference
glance.
between that and there's some hoes in this house? You know what I mean, it's the same thing.
R. Kelly had it right. But the point is, I feel a lot of it is, especially with the youth.
Hold up.
Right.
You just said R. Kelly, Pied Piper.
Yeah.
It is. It's trickery. So now what he was saying with Drake, I'm sorry.
Calling me Drake.
I'm sorry.
Jake.
What Jake is saying
Jake.
about the church is, I think a lot is this. They're trying to serve two masters.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, all right, I know I'm wrong, but it's like, well, what if I could take it and make it like,
What if we gotta fit in, y'all?
We gotta fit in.
We gotta fit in with the youth.
we,
You know what I mean?
we gotta fit in.
catch the
So
youth.
it's like they're serving two masters, really, is what it is.
But it's
You know?
funny because if you actually talk to someone about Drake, it's like, oh, you mean that half Jewish dude from Canada
Yeah, right.
that knows nothing about
It was
American
girls,
culture?
though.
Like the dude is just a good actor. Someone was breaking
Right.
this down. I think it was, I forget who it was, but somebody I was watching was breaking down how like Drake is just actually one of the best actors. He can act like any, like he does the Jamaican thing. He does the,
He's an actor. That's what he is.
he does the down south
Right.
thing. Like he could sound like a southern rapper. He could sound like a Jamaican artist. He
Right.
could sound like, you know,
He could do some reggaeton.
He
which
could.
he did, and he actually sounded all right.
Yeah. But I think it's
I'm saying people said.
I believe a lot of that comes from when you're younger, you don't want to feel left out.
right.
And
What does that mean? That's just insecurity.
it's insecurity, but you take the church now and they feel left out musically. So if we could take it and kind of bring in God a little bit, can we keep it? Like that's really what it is. They just want to keep it, you know?
Right.
They don't want to let it go.
That is the same thing as what he's talking about, where it's like, well, this is the people we're trying to reach.
Right.
So if we use the music they love, we
get
can bring them in. You know what I mean?
And I think though, the question is, why do I like this? And that's the question that most people aren't going to ask.
Right.
Right.
And I think that's where people have to be responsible, who are, in
Right.
those places of authority to
Right.
like, why do you like this?
Yeah.
Think about why. You can't just say because I just like it because it sounds good. That's not a responsible answer.
Right.
That's something that our dad used to always say. To us, like, that's not a responsible answer. He's not going to accept that from us.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to challenge
Yeah.
people, and that's my point. Like, there's no challenge because a lot of times we just like something and just think it's okay. And it's because you've been already programmed.
Right.
The programming
Right.
has already.
Yeah.
So now like because dude was literally saying like, yeah, man, I just like it. Like he's not listening to the lyrics whatsoever. He listened to that Drake song 11 times in one day. Couldn't tell you what he said, and he thinks that's okay. It's not okay. That's not okay. And for him to be in a position where he has an authority to put out music is not okay. In a true world,
Right.
like we need to hold, but that shows you what rules.
Mm-hmm.
It's money. It's greed. It literally shows you for somebody to say that who has a platform and I'm not talking about Christian. I'm talking about any circumstance.
Oh, they all do it. Every genre does
Right.
it. You know?
But my point is that it's greed. It rules. So that's what it's always going to be depraved. It's always going to be, and that's what's happened. It gets worse and worse. Yeah, we got music like they've been doing it since back then, which of course, but even on the musicality side, like it's lessened.
Right.
In my like from back then, at least people were actually knowing what they were doing. Now it's like, dude, anybody can do anything and act like they're doing some amazing stuff.
Right.
And it's like you can only sing what that chord is doing. and you can't sing outside of that chord.
Right.
So that chord controls you.
Mhm.
You know, most people don't even know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Like your melody is attached to the chord. You can't hear. You need work with your ear. Like none of this matters because it sounds good.
Right.
To somebody who doesn't know anything because they've been so programmed and dumbed down by music, you know.
Same thing on the production side. Like when you
Yeah.
hear a lot of these, like, you know, these producers and beat makers now, it's just, there's a lot of pre-packaged things that you can get that just, you just kind of like there's things that you can get now that you push one button and it plays all these chord changes for you. You know what I mean? And then you just kind of throw some drum loops over that and you
Mess
got a
with
whole
the
song.
sound a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want to go through like this? I put a, can music control your brain?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's show
Put that
it.
on there.
How long is it? Is it a long video?
A few minutes.
How many minutes?
I mean, we don't have to watch the whole thing.
Okay.
Probably like 6 minutes.
Let's check it out and see what it's hitting for. Can music control your brain? I mean, this is a known fact. I
Yeah,
feel
of
like
course.
right?
It is.
Music,
we were talking
movies.
about we were talking about movies. You know, there's a reason why certain composers are
The
hired.
connection between music and mind control. You walk into a bar and music is thumping, all heads are bobbing and feet tapping in synchrony.
Hey, coming to America.
Somehow, the rhythmic sound grabs control of the brains of everyone in the room, forcing them to operate simultaneously and perform the same behaviors in synchrony. How is this possible? Is this unconscious mind control by rhythmic sounds only driving our bodily motions? Or could it be affecting deeper mental processes? Does music have the ability to control your mind? These are some of the questions which we will explore today on Forbidden Knowledge. Studies have shown rhythmic sound not only coordinates the behavior of people in a group, it also coordinates their thinking. The mental processes of individuals in the group become synchronized. Most of us know that workout songs and music can help you exercise harder. But do you know
What
why?
is that visual?
If you
that
understand
exercise?
how sound
Exercise.
and music actually change your brainwaves, you can use this knowledge to alter your mental and physical performance states with laser accuracy. Most of us live the majority of our lives in a state of primarily beta brainwaves, aroused, alert, concentrated, but also somewhat stressed. When you meditate, the electrical patterns in your brain slow down and the amplitude of your brainwaves generally stabilizes in the alpha wave range. When we lower the brainwave frequency to alpha, we can put ourselves in an ideal condition to learn new information, perform more elaborate tasks, learn languages, analyze complex situations, and even be in what sports psychologists call the zone, which is a state of improved focus and performance in athletic competitions or exercise. Part of this is because the slightly decreased electrical activity in the brain can lead to significant increases in feel-good brain chemicals, like endorphins, norepinephrine, and dopamine. But it turns out that you don't need to meditate for weeks on end to be able to achieve this state of alpha brainwave relaxation.
It's funny
Instead,
because
you
as
can
he's
use a
talking
concept
about this
called
stuff,
brainwave entrainment to get
He's
the
playing music.
he's playing this music that's putting you in this state of
causes
like,
brainwave frequencies
oh,
to fall
this is-
into step with a specific frequency. The type of
Fall
sound
into step.
frequencies that are typically used in brainwave entrainment are called binaural beats. The human ability to be entrained was developed by the forces of natural selection as an important part of achieving the
Not
specific
endorsing
altered
everything.
state of consciousness.
He's saying.
Achieving this state in which humans lose their individuality, do not feel fear and pain, are united in a shared
2001?
collective identity, and
Space
act
Odyssey?
in the best
Yeah.
interests of the
What
group
is this?
was
That's just,
crucial for the physical survival of
Geographic.
our ancestors against the
He
big
took-
predators.
this is National Geographic.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
How music is used in present day to affect your mind. Marketers have known the power of music and mind control since the 1960s, and they use it so effortlessly that you aren't even aware that you're being manipulated. One 1966 study found that if you turn up all the music in a grocery store, people buy the same amount of stuff, but they do their shopping a lot quicker. Music tempo also counts. Slow tempo tunes make people move slower, whether they're shopping in a store or eating dinner. The memories that are strongest are locked in with emotion, and you have the most of those between 16 and 24 years old. So most deep associations with songs are from that
interesting.
period of your life. Car companies know this, so when they target their music towards someone in their 20s, they'll use a song that topped the charts when they were in high school. It's the
So much
surest
science
way to
behind this
tug
that they
at their
know.
collective heartstrings. Scientists are now using music in therapy for cognitive, sensory, and motor dysfunctions due to neurologic disease of the human nervous system. This is known as
I really just
neurologic
wanted to get to
music
that.
therapy. And
What,
treatment
this right here?
techniques are
No,
based
so
on
what
the
we just
scientific
heard.
knowledge
Okay,
of
we
music
don't
have to go through
perception.
the whole
We're good with that. Yo, you know what's funny is we were just talking about that with Chuck with the whole McDonald's thing.
Yeah.
And the inception of I'm loving it, ba da ba ba ba. Like,
It started with the malls, actually. The original designer of the mall thought about this as a communal space. He found out that if you have ambient music playing in the background, it puts people at ease. And then the big department stores started to play. This is why like jazz and easy listening became corny.
elevator music.
Elevator music, because that was actually orchestral music. It was light orchestral music, but the stores wanted something soothing to waft through the department and through the elevator. They wanted an almost easy kind of. Yeah, they did, and it became so. If you were a kid and you're listening to probably a 13-piece band, but you hear that so much that it's just background noise. You know what I mean? But that was the point. He wanted. They thought about it. It started with him.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of using it in the stores.
In the stores, yeah.
There's an interesting thing, and he kind of really lightly touched on it, but it was a meditation. And the interesting thing is you're not as susceptible to music if you're meditating.
Right.
So it's really about like what you're meditating on.
Right.
And I thought that was interesting because if you can be in a grocery store, you can be at a state where you're meditating
Right.
on the right things, and you won't be as easily programmed because of your focus. That won't even hit you subconsciously. So I think that's key. So when going back to like, if you're at a state where you're not focusing on anything and you're just going through your day, let me get this, what do I need? Like now you're being hit at a subconscious level that you're not going to be able to fight against.
Right.
So there's such an importance of meditate, like in my opinion, meditating on the Bible, meditating on the Word, and that doesn't even have to do with like reading the Bible right then and there, but actually just thinking on these things, you know, and it becomes a constant thing. But going back, like if you're not doing these things, then you'll be so allured by the music that you're not even paying attention to it, but because you're being hit by it all the time, you're in spaces where you're hit by it. You don't even realize it. Then eventually you just become hooked to it, and you won't know what's going on. And then I just like that.
Right.
Why? I just like it because it sounds good. But why does it sound good?
Do you see your kids like now that they're a little older? Like, what kind of stuff are they listening to? Because I see it with Elise. You know,
I don't let my kids listen to much. So it's hard for me to gauge. Like they listen to our music more. So it's hard. Like I don't.
Right.
know.
But there's gonna come a time when they're gonna wanna to choose their own.
Yeah.
How do you do?
Just communicate it with them, you know, and not only that, like you get them to meditate on things. Again, you don't have to do it like
Instead of saying,
I
like,
need you to meditate. No,
shut that off. That is crap.
Yeah.
Right,
No,
right.
but it's more like getting them to think on things.
But I think that led to a lot of kids being like, oh, shit, I'll listen to it in my room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like versus, I think I when we were kids, our parents weren't, I don't know about you guys' parents, but my dad was like, anything other than what he deemed acceptable was
Well,
Devil music,
yeah,
you know
that
what I
was for us. It was much different because
your dad.
our,
Yeah.
our parents were,
Yeah.
separated. So my mom did
Well,
try.
even at a young age.
Right.
Yeah, at a young age. But I'm saying like once.
Your dad. He has Luke Campbell.
Yeah, no, my dad used to just like. My dad used to play whatever he liked, so that became our musical taste.
Right.
But even like us having this. Falling in love with Michael Jackson, I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
Thriller
That was our
came out in
first-
1984.
Our first record.
Yeah.
I like would listen to, except for the song Thriller, I would cry and run away. But the rest of the songs, and for some reason, even that, like at that young age, I knew that song was scary.
Yeah.
This is before a music video, before anything. It was just the sound of that song.
The wolf howling.
The sound of when it would come on used to scare me. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and then 20 years later, you're in a Halloween party like.
I never went to Halloween parties.
Stop it.
I
one.
never went to Halloween parties, dude. I never wore a costume and went to a Halloween party. Not one time in my entire life. But no, like the fact that, we were in love with Billie Jean and Beat It and that album, like why?
Yeah.
Why, even as a kid, would something like that grab you? Jaden used to love Michael Jackson.
he
Like,
did.
why? There's something there.
Right.
Even like people don't understand the idea of frequencies.
Is it? Could it be that it's just a good beat that draws you in, or
Could be.
Yeah.
It could be. I can't even say that I know. But
Powers of frequencies.
yeah, like
and vibrations.
people don't understand what frequencies are, what
Tone.
is.
Tone
like,
is frequency.
the idea of all of the music that we listen to now is tuned to A440, 440 hertz, which is a certain frequency that they decided upon. I don't even really know the full story of how that became a thing. Maybe we can find that. But 440 is the frequency that we just all agree but before that became a thing, people used to tune to different frequencies. A lot of music was actually a science or a sacred thing where they would play songs and tune to certain frequencies.
And churches were like what, 432?
432 was a lot of church music was 432, and there's something to that. I know, like a lot back in like the 60s and 50s when like a lot of these psychedelic bands were coming out, they were experimenting with like doing records and these frequencies that they believe were more in tune with the devil. So they would tune all their guitars to like 428 or some crazy, you know what I mean? Yeah. But a lot of people don't even understand that those are vibrations. Like everything is built off of vibrations. Everything is vibrating all the time.
When we talk, it's a vibration.
So all of those music playing at certain vibrations has a literal effect on your anatomy.
How you
know what I
feel.
mean? On how you feel, your psychology.
Affection. That hit me today. Like how you're affected by it is like even the word affection.
Yeah.
Because it's the tone. Like, oh, don't talk to me like that.
Right.
Like what? It's the
Right.
tone
It
in
is the
which you
tone.
text.
Yeah.
You talk to somebody.
That's why texting is such. Texting is like the removal of all tone.
Yeah.
So you have to use emojis to try to compensate for that.
There's a lot of room for error with texting.
You see it now with mask.
Yeah.
Like the way people are.
Yeah.
You look at eyebrows. You're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, is that a mean? What? Because you can't put it together.
And I catch myself all the time. Like if I see someone in the store and like, you hold the door for them or something, or somebody grabs something and you smile and you like, thank, I'm like, they can't even see that I'm smiling.
Yeah. You have to like,
they don't know.
head.
They don't know what's going on behind
Some of them
this
are
mask.
wearing it. They say there's a smile under here.
I see that, and then clearly there isn't. Like,
So Chuck said classical music is used in stores to make the buyer feel sophisticated and appreciated.
Yes. That was the
like I could see that in like Macy's and Strawbridges and
But it does seem to work because you think about it. You're buying something, you're putting on a suit. You know what I mean?
and then Hollister. What's
Right.
that? What's that
Yeah,
effect?
what's that about?
What's that effect?
You can't even think.
Yeah,
I
it's
go in
Jersey
there, I
Shore
can't even-
music.
Hold up. That's
Jersey
the same
Shore
as
music.
Abercrombie and Finch.
Yeah.
They're the same company.
Yeah, same company.
Yeah.
And you know that comes from Victoria's Secret.
Yeah,
Which is
Dershowitz.
Dershowitz.
Those
And you know how they get people? to work there?
They tell them they're going to be models.
Yeah.
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 They don't call them employees. They
call them models.
Wait, weren't we talking about that on here? I feel like
Yeah,
were.
we did.
I think we
did.
may have.
But why is the music so loud that you can't think?
Because it's creating
And
an
the
experience.
smell,
There's a
it
science.
smells so.
There's a science
Yeah.
behind it, man.
Yeah, but if you think about it too, like that's just. I mean, I think the way from my perspective, God created this planet with everything has rhythm. If you like the other night, I just went outside. Right, there's not in the daytime. There's really not a couple of birds, but at nighttime, you're hearing frogs. You're hearing all this stuff, all this sound. They're communicating with each other. We can't see them. They're communicating. You know what I mean? And I think that's just part of his design. But we took it, we corrupted it, and we figured out a way how to manipulate it to make it work for us.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Just like numbers.
Yeah.
You know? It's funny because I just found this out. Like, math has to do with like disciple. I forget the exact name of disciple in the Greek, but it's the root of math.
Okay.
Right? And it has to do with learning. Math has to do with learning.
Hey, Ariana. Ariana just said, hey, guys.
Hey, Ariana.
Oh, Kathleen, real quick. Kathleen said, hey, guys, I'm so interested in this topic. Gotta sleep now, but I'm gonna definitely come. Good night.
Yeah, so math.
Yeah.
And it's about learning,
Yeah.
you know. And if you think about everything that we learn in this world, you have to be discipled in it.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to go through. And math is literally 1 + 1 is 2.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Not if you
Is it
Okay.
okay?
Because
Right.
if you take
on a
1.4
basic
and
creation,
and then you carry
the way the
one.
world works, right? That sounds good in a world that nothing works. But how things actually work. And going back to, we were talking about math. What were you talking about? Oh, sound. It's the same thing. When you look at music, it's all mathematics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's 12 keys, 24 if you go down deep.
There's an order to
There's
it.
an order.
There's an order to
So
it.
you have. It's about learning that order. You know, and
And the
from
order
that-
is very, very synchronized with, I mean, you think about it, 12 hours, 12 notes. There's the cycle of fifths is in 12s, the cycle of fourths.
Yeah.
There's,
There's 7 notes between each cycle.
right, 7 notes in a scale.
Yeah.
7 days in a week.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all that stuff is kind of in synchronicity, you know what I mean? With it.
Even with the
itself.
like just the basis of
Yeah.
tone and chords. Like you
Yeah.
need 3 chords to make up a chord.
3 notes to make a chord.
I mean,
Right.
3 notes to make a chord, 3
Right.
chords
Right.
to make a chord,
Right.
and then you need that chord so that you have a base. It's a foundation.
Right.
You know, if you don't have that foundation, you don't have anything to build off of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
And essentially, the people who are doing this kind of trickery, they're not wrong. It's working for them.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that people are falling for it and they don't want to look deeper.
yeah.
You know, there is a science to this thing.
Yeah.
Because they're figuring out that
Well, yeah.
if you hear this enough, your emotions.
Dude,
you know
there's
what
a reason why they're pumping in fan noise to these sports. The rating
I
on
did
all
watch
these
it.
the ratings on these
Yeah.
sports events are so low.
Yeah.
And they're trying to save it all.
Right, right.
Because it's like
an experience.
something is happening where people are like starting to get like disillusioned with it in a sense. You know what I mean? Like with sports and the whole like hoopla. And I think them realize like them showing a game to silence where no one's cheering and all the the frenzies in the stands and all that isn't happening. It kind of makes you be like, why am I watching this?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not exciting. You know what I'm saying? It's like, are they making us excited? Like,
Well, I think that goes back to what we were saying earlier with the young kids and music. It's the feeling of being left out, and the fans themselves. If you're a true baseball fan, you're gonna want to watch baseball no matter what. But if you're in there because your friend watches it and you're really
you don't
not-
want to be left out.
yeah, it's because you were always doing it because you wanted to fit in.
Because when they talk about, yo, did you see when LeBron went up in the third quarter? Like,
I think-
and you can't add to that. It's
know
like
what?
that video we got where we were talking about the Eagles game and you were sitting there like, that's
Exactly.
But if you were like
Yeah.
somebody who's
Yeah.
like, I want to be in on this
Listen,
conversation.
when
Next Eagles game, you be watching like,
Right.
okay, then he went to the left.
If you guys
and then
talked
it's
about-
like quarterback.
You guys talked about boxing.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry to cut you off, but Chuck just said he's on. He's doing some research in Psychology Today article. Emily Anthes writes, quote unquote, shoppers make more impulsive purchases when they're overstimulated. Loud volume leads to sensory overload, which weakens self-control. So that's...
I can't think. Give me everything.
The song is so good.
Chuck, by the way, you didn't get back to. I sent him the video, the snake oil documentary, and he never texted me back.
Chuck was on vacation. He told me that he did what we did in Wildwood, where we turned off our phones.
Oh, okay.
So he
Excuse me,
he just
everybody,
got
you know
back this week.
Oh, okay. But he texted me and sent me something, and then I sent him that back, and he didn't respond. But it's all good. But yeah,
He's calling you a jerk, Chuck.
it's all good. What were we talking about?
Before I interrupted,
Sensory overloads.
No, before that,
there was a banter between y'all two.
we were talking about.
Talking about people feeling insecure.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's the same thing. Like if you bring up, if you're talking about UFC, I'm not that knowledgeable on UFC, so I would be sitting there like, okay, you know what I mean?
Sure, James.
You know, but you know, I can have a conversation, but the need is not there for me to be like, I better brush up on this. You know what I mean? And
But
I
that's
think,
what it is.
I think that's what people are starting to like lose is that need to like, I gotta, you know, and then seeing the games with fake crowd noise and a fake crowd, it's like the I put up a clip in there about an episode, a scene from Seinfeld without the laugh track. And see if we can pull this up, because it kind of shows you how they can convince you something is fun. We've been seeing it with the late night shows. We've been seeing it with like
Kimmel,
yeah,
Fallon,
like without the audience,
Colbert.
without the production manager standing there with the applause sign, like, or like you remember in MTV, they used to have people planted in the audience. They would get up and cheer to get everyone else to get up and cheer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because people are followers naturally. Like they're like, oh, I don't want to be left out of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they would have a couple people planted who would scream after everything, woo, yeah, and everyone else would join in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Say hi to
There's
Warnita.
There's an energy
Yeah.
that comes.
Let's watch this scene, because this is... Now, keep in mind, during the show, this scene was like full of laughter. You're supposed to laugh through this whole thing.
It's you. You scared me.
Good. Fear is our most primal emotion.
There's a laugh.
That was laughter there.
I know. I like to encourage intruders.
So
What is all this?
if you
Do
put
you
scary
like it?
music behind this,
My home is
Right? It would be totally different.
Where did you get all these pictures?
I took them myself with a telephoto lens. Coming out of your office, your apartment, shopping, showering.
It's hilarious.
Showering?
I developed them myself in my darkroom. Would you like to see?
In the dark room? Oh, no thank you. Not right now. I'm a day person.
Laughs.
Those everywhere
There's
you
no
hear the
laughs.
silence is the laugh tracks.
Are you all right?
Why?
Well, I don't know. You just don't, seem yourself.
Who am I? Who am I supposed to be?
That's a good question. Good question. It's very, existential. Who are you? Who am I? Yeah, well,
What are you doing here?
oh, nothing. I just, stopped by to chat, you know, shoot the breeze.
Were you able to get those opera tickets to Pagliacci from that friend of yours? I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, no, he couldn't get them. We're not going.
Really?
Oh, you know, I just
You can still hear it a
remembered
little.
Yeah,
I left something on the gas, the lights. Something is on somewhere, so I'm just gonna gonna get the,
Story of Pagliacci, Netta?
Like we're supposed to be laughing at this.
He's a clown whose wife is unfaithful to him. You think I'm a clown, Netta?
Why does the noise keep getting louder and louder? It's like a weird.
None of it's bad to be a
wind
clown. If
noise.
it's bad
Yeah.
to be a clown, then you are definitely not a clown. But if
Even
it's
that's
good to
like
be
a
clown, then I would
frequency.
Yeah.
have to rethink the whole thing.
You've betrayed me with another, haven't you, Netta? Who is he? I want you to tell me who he is. I want his name. Tell me his name.
Oh, like any man would ever look at me.
Okay.
Yeah, so there was definitely some music in there. I mean, some
At the end, it
sound.
was
Yeah.
ramping up, yeah.
Yeah.
Making it creepier,
Yeah.
creepier.
But it's weird when you watch it in that context. It's like, why is that supposed to be funny? So she's literally being stalked and is possibly going to be murdered or raped by this dude. But with the laugh track in, it totally turns it into comedy gold. You know what I mean? It's like same thing they do with the late night shows.
Why'd you sound like Seinfeld when you said that?
Because that was the
Tell
point.
me, what's with this comedy?
But it's just showing the like
Yeah.
like we were saying
Influence.
the psychology
Yeah,
behind it.
yeah.
And they learned that early on too. That if this show is supposed to be funny, we got to convince people it's funny by
funny, yeah.
like having these laugh tracks.
Right. And subsequently, what it does is not only is it affecting the audience, but it's affecting the actors. And look at Kramer when Kramer went on that the laugh whatever it was.
Yeah.
He thought he was Kramer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So he embodied that character, and this has happened in Hollywood a lot where. These people, David Carradine believes he's Kung Fu guy.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal. Like they really believe because it's a form of trickery. They really believe that they're that guy.
We just talked about that Spanish dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He
You
became that
buy
character.
into that. You know what I mean? Because if they want the public to buy into it, imagine what they're doing to the actors to really buy into that character.
or the artist.
Yeah, well, either or.
that's
Convince them.
even
You know
worse.
what? You need pink bunny rabbits in here. This is not. You know what? You're right. How much is that budget? $5 million.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what they're gonna do. You know.
But the point is for people to take notice of this and pay attention to it and be like, all right,
Right.
what is being done here? Like I just saw.
Wait, can I make one point real
Go
quick?
ahead,
I'm sorry.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
So here's an example of that. I don't know what you guys take on this, but it's like you guys remember the baby reveal thing went from being nothing
Yeah.
to now baby reveals are like I got a dad.
It's the one-up game.
It's like
It's wedding proposals. It's the same thing.
it's the same kind of thing where I don't know what it is. Like people just feel the need to one up. What did he do? He hit a watermelon and it was pink.
yeah.
Let me see here. What could I do? I could run an alligator pit.
Right.
And then the alligator bites it and it's blue. It's like they tried.
But and it ended up in a bunch of people getting hurt because
Yeah,
of
but
this.
you heard about the couple in Texas that there were two rangers that got together. They went out there and they were shooting skeets, and I guess they shot one, and somehow they started a fire and burned like acres and acres
Wow.
of forest down. You know what I mean? It's out of control. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's what happens. You know, I was gonna talk about. I saw the one of Joe Biden's ad campaigns,
Right.
and it was like targeting black people. You know what I mean? So immediately, for me, like I see the Wizardry right away. Like I just, as soon as it comes on, it's like black gospel music playing, and it's like,
Oh.
yeah, and it's like
Can we find it?
we probably can. It's Joe Biden.
They showed a clip of Kamala eating hot sauce
Yeah.
and collard greens. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, but
Wait, this
everything
is real?
about it was like it was like
No.
they sat in a boardroom and they said, "All right, what are the words that will get blacks behind Biden? Okay, we got to bring up racism. We got to bring up civil rights. We got to say Trump is racist, and we got to play some black music, and you know what I mean? It was like, and they just hit all those marks. They really didn't tell you anything about Joe Biden. It was not.
And what are they doing? They're literally playing to the tone that they think they need. Like
Right.
it's the frequency.
Even the way the girl's talking, it's a black woman's voice. You know
when
what I
he
mean?
talks to them, he's like, "Yo, come on, man. What you doing, man? Oh, you think I'm crazy, man?" Like he talks like that when he tries to young it up and
Right.
you know.
If you think about it, like if you come in with something that's out of tone, it's gonna clash. People don't like that. Like if you come in with a note that's like if you're playing in a minor key and you raise it up to a major, it might even sound good, but because you're not used to it, something about that I just don't like. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's the issue. And we get trained. If you play that over and over again, you only play in minor chords over and over again, and that's all you ever heard. Once somebody does a song in a major chord, like it's not gonna feel good
Right.
to you. You don't even know. I don't know why. Just not feeling that. So it becomes a clash, and that's what happens to me. Like when people, in my opinion, like when people are so used to hearing one thing all the time, and then something comes in, they don't want to hear it. That is actually true.
Right.
People don't want to hear it because of the frequency they're used to, because of the tone they've been used to playing. And it's like
You're saying even just with talking.
just with talking,
Right.
like if you grew up in a house where people are always yelling, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And that's the way they talk. Then you go somewhere else that's not like that. And like,
Y'all
Yo,
are boring.
like
Y'all
you
are
just
boring.
right here.
You just reminded me of that's cultural too.
Yeah.
it's
Like how on the soccer field, for instance, the way some people from different parts of
Different
the
countries,
world
yeah.
and they talk and it sounds super aggressive. Like, yo, why are you talking to me like that? And they get into fights all the time.
and they don't think it's anything wrong with it because that's the way they're used to dealing.
That's
with
why I left.
you just didn't like
I
it.
can't
You
take
don't let you. James, what are you doing?
First of all, I suck. I suck. I can't. I wasn't into it, but yeah, it's definitely cultural. It definitely is cultural because it's.
But that's the point, and that's the problem. Like, because a lot of things that, like, even with race, it's like,
Yeah.
it's not race, it's cultural.
and it's group too. Yeah, it's
Yo,
grouping.
Melanie said, our cousin said, us at grandma's. Listen, that's something that a lot of people at their grandma's house here is just people talking loud.
Right.
But it's if that's all you know, and then you go to a house where people talk very quiet and calmly and very reserved, it's like you'll be like, what is going on? What, are y'all crazy?
Yo,
You know?
boring.
Yo,
There were certain times with my wife, like, certain things I say, like when I'm very adamant about something, like I start to raise my voice, but she would be like, oh, you're scaring me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, what? Like,
Because you talk passionately
because
about something, yeah.
Right.
But and I have like a
Like you do at soccer.
Yeah.
so it took her some time to like get used to that. You know what I mean? Because for her that was actually like triggering for her, because her dad was very calm, but then when he would lash out, he'd get into this other mode. So she equates that with that, and it sets her off. But it took time to like recognize that, and it was my tone, which I'm not used to, because that's not my cultural upbringing. The way she was used to, they were very quiet, and then things would just like shift.
Explode.
Yeah.
So did you have anything else in there that you wanted to
There was some other, I put the Rocky thing in there.
just showing the scene from Rocky
like,
without
like the whole training thing, like he's just running through the street and nothing's happening. Like if you watch that, it's boring.
I think we could tell people, like, just look up. You can go on YouTube and just find like famous movie scenes with no sound, no music, and really see if you still get the same like vibe out of it, the same inspiration. Like, because David Goggins, who we talked about on here before, the dude who's like, he just broke the pull-up record. He did like 4,000 pull-ups. You ain't messing with him. He did 4,000 pull-ups, bro. Like to the point where his hands, the skin was ripped off his hands
At one time?
Mm-hmm.
Dang. I was happy I did 35.
Yeah, but like he's a beast.
I
But
think it was like in 17 hours or something.
yeah, it took him 17 hours.
He just hung there
I don't know exactly if he hung
But he's
there.
pulling himself up.
Yeah, pull-ups. I
Might
don't know.
have had some rest. Or something.
He had to have.
There's footage of it. There's footage of it if we can find
Oh,
it. Just
I want to bring this up real
What?
quick because it kind of has to go with it. So I just came across this video and it was a bunch of, it was kind of talking about like what's going on today with black people and the black community. And it was all black people. And they were asking them questions. So the one question he was like, what's the first thing you think of when I say privilege? Right? And not all of them, but the majority
White
of them
privilege.
was like white people who got everything. Like it was everything that's been programmed in the people, the tone of. And then there was one girl, she was like, I don't think of it like that. I just think of it like if you're privileged, just whatever you're privileged at. Like I'm privileged because I grew up with a mom and a dad. I'm privileged because of this. I'm privileged because I had that. I'm
Privilege
privileged
exists
because I
everywhere.
live in America.
Hauke was privileged because he spoke German.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
so he got that job.
Yeah.
Right. And
You know?
so the point of it is the tone of the frequency of the atmosphere socially right now, and especially people who are so focused in on that tone, that frequency, they're gonna hear something and automatically be programmed to that frequency of what that means. When the same word could mean something totally different to somebody else who's not in tune with that frequency, because they're not tuned in every day watching those things.
Right.
And that's a counterbalance to what happened, because white people did the same thing too. When they hear black, they be like lazy, shifty, dangerous. You know what I mean? When they heard that back in the day, if you ask a white person in the 50s and 60s, you know, they would do the same thing. I think it's just time. This culture, America sets the tone for. We just like in charge of cultural changes and epicenters and flows of how things work. So whatever we see here, because in Trinidad, there's no black Trinis or white Trinis. We're all Trinidadians. But that has never been put on us the way it has over here.
But you still have like within, you still have your separation.
Oh yeah, we have it's because of
Discrimination.
because of the the culture. The colonialism really did it. Colonialism imparted that on us, but there's a better blending than it is here.
I mean, I don't know if
You
you
know?
can say colonialism because I think everywhere in the world has that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
but you got to look at the purveyor. Like when a culture comes in to me, and they're the dominant culture, to survive, the people who are under their control are gonna try to assimilate or copy them to survive. And then if they start blending family, especially if they start having kids, then they people have to survive. So they'll pick certain things that will more than likely be less noticeable to the dominant culture if it's something that's considered evil.
Right.
And they'll try to assimilate to that.
So I think
you know?
that's more like just the fallen state of the world.
No, it is, but at the same time, there is an effect. Like I think that in the Caribbean, you could see it. You could see it's not like it is here, but it's there. You know, where you see a young lady who is like, I got to look better in these pictures. So what do I do? Well, let me buy skin bleaching cream and bleach my face because these pictures got to look that good. Well,
But
where
how do you make sense of that in countries where there was no real colonialism?
Well, you gotta so it's not colonialism in terms of like, oh, we conquered it, but you're looking at colonialism from the whoever established rule in that country, and then who were they influenced by, and then the bigger influence is the movies, the magazine.
Right.
That's all a part of that. You know what I mean? That's all still a part of. Now, I'm not saying that you're instantly a victim. It's just how would this affect certain people who don't know?
So
You know.
again, I think it has to do with the fallen. It's the world. It's the world system. It's not really because anywhere you go in the world, you're going to deal with this.
Yeah,
You
of
know what I
course,
mean?
of course.
And that's the issue. It's people, like you said at the beginning, people are insecure. They're scared, so they want to assimilate to whatever they can, almost to hide.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
almost to hide so that they won't get any kind of backlash.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm saying that people are affected by whatever culture is dominant. That's just what it is, you know. That whatever culture is dominant, that people try to survive by trying to copy that. You know, it's like, think about it, right? Like, look at it this way. Look at in the 90s when hip hop took off, and you had young white kids acting black, putting on do-rags. We saw that in Echelon Mall all the time. They're not from there, but they're trying to gain ground with these black dudes and be cool and hang out with them because they're trying to assimilate with what they at that time think is dominant cultures. I look at some of those kids today and they don't even look the same. They've changed. They're now in suit and tie and they're selling real estate.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at that time, they tried to assimilate to whatever that physical, the dominant culture. That's what they were trying to do.
Is that based off of just trying to fit in and be cool, or is that that based off of, you know, oppressive?
Because they're not the dominant
hierarchy.
culture.
No, not they're not dominating them. They're not dominating them, but to them at that age, at 15, 16, they're looking at these guys. These guys are awesome. They're cool. They have certain cred.
That's what I'm
whatever
saying.
it is.
So isn't it just trying to fit in and be cool?
Yeah. To a sense, yes, it has turned into that.
Right.
But you got to look at back at that time, back in when whoever conquered the Caribbean. I'm talking about the Caribbean. Whoever conquered the Caribbean, they set the tone for what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Beauty standards, food, etiquette, all of those kind of things. So you're gonna try and blend in.
Right.
You know what I mean? They were the ones that set the laws, the rules. So the people who they considered beneath them to survive, they're gonna try and copy them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I think that happens all over the world.
Right.
No, I agree.
exact thing.
I agree, but it's going to have an effect.
Yeah.
It's going to have an effect on how people feel. It's going to have it happens all over, but it's going to have an effect. It's like this. Like within our family, right? Like we have a mixing of people. But if we start highlighting certain things and certain features and certain things amongst the kids, you don't have to talk about colorism, or the kids are going to internalize that and feel a certain way. You don't have to say it. It's just the kids are going to respond to it. Liz and them will tell you that.
Yeah.
When we were growing up with our cousins, our Indian cousins, they would tell my the lighter Indians, don't go outside, you're going to get too dark. Liz, you guys go outside. You have fun out there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You guys are already.
Why would they do that?
But again, I think that's the tone. That's the frequency that we're tapped into that is like almost subliminal throughout society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, and I agree with that,
And-
but I'm saying that there is an effect on colonialism. India went through colonialism, and Trinidad went through it. So it's deep rooted in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that has, but I'm saying on a greater level, like colonialism is just a part of overarching what's going on in the world.
Oh, yeah.
So any you can look at anything in the world and see where it comes from. It's literally about manipulation and destroying whatever's coming against you, and then just manipulating people to stay in line.
Yeah.
And it's the same, like even in families. When you look at families, there's always like a power struggle, even inside one family.
Right.
You know, and it's whoever can win that power struggle and convincing and manipulating the greatest. A lot of times, it's going to come to the surface and rise to the surface. That's what makes even like true. That's what made like when Christianity really started, that's what made it so different and unique, because people weren't controlled by these cultural things, and families were literally breaking up because people were outside of that. You know what I mean? Stepping outside of that. That's what's so powerful. What's up?
Mo just
Just
our
kick the
mic.
camera.
Huh? I mean, our camera. He just
Go to their camera.
No, that's fine.
So that's what's so powerful with it's a you're changing the frequency of what you focused on. You know what I mean? All those things get erased. Like there's no more. You don't got to worry about colonialism or this thing or that.
No, I'm not worried about it. I'm not saying that.
No. I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying, like, just on like a regular family
Right.
basis, like we can get away from all the stuff that we thought was important because that's what people start pointing to. This thing, they start, like you said, kids at a young age, they start looking at these things. That's the tone that that people
But mainly
set.
because the adults didn't correct it. I think that's part of it too, is that, like you said, like with the music thing, don't listen to that. That's garbage. If we had someone to sit us down and say, okay, son, I see why you like that, but here's why this doesn't line up with morals and values and standards. You know what I'm saying? I think people do that often. You know what I mean? Just cut people off at the knees. Don't like that. Don't hang out with them. Why don't you like? And it forces people to be like, you know what? I don't have enough power to fight you right now. I'm gonna listen to this in secret.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna enjoy this on my own.
That's I think that's the tone of the family, because like you might say something, but you don't really mean it because you feel it in the tone every single day. You're tapped into a different frequency. You might say like mean what you say type thing.
Yeah.
You know, like you might say that, but you don't really mean it because look at what you do, and people see that. That's the tone. That's what I'm saying. Like,
and like you said, you picked apart what your dad listens to, right? Like, you know, so anyone can do that. People can be like, wait, but you don't really believe this because. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what was the result of that? I didn't. I didn't finish.
No, he agreed. He agreed. I mean, we just had we having a conversation. We were just talking about music and the idea of what's wrong and what's decent and what's wholesome. And I said, look, you know, to you, Mortal Kombat at 14 years old is terrible, is trash. But Clint Eastwood slinging guns and killing people, that is good entertainment. Schwarzenegger mowing down a couple. I mean, I'm trying to show him like, is Mortal Kombat as bad as that, or like is it? What are we talking here? You know what I mean? But I'm talking to him as a grown man now, and I'm like, but isn't it all bad?
Right.
Like, can we agree that all of it is terrible?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? If we're gonna say this is wholesome entertainment and this isn't, well then let's kind of look at it all.
Kind of like what I was trying to talk to Dave about today earlier.
Yeah.
Right. That was my point, was more or less, and he agreed. He actually, after like much deliberation, because he didn't want to concede to that, I was like, I think we pick and choose what we deem, you know.
yeah,
You know.
Yeah, we set up rules and standards.
But that's why I said when
rules.
you said earlier, the guy, because right now everybody wants to hear the black perspective, but there was a time when no one was interested in that. You go back in a lot of these videos in the 50s, and you ask the average white person about integration, and they'll tell you how they feel. Oh, they need to stay over there. The pendulum has essentially swung, and it swings back and forth. And I think it's that idea. If we all think like, you know what, instead of me going along with what I've been taught by my parents or society, I'm gonna actually get to know what you're saying. What's your take on life? Yeah. You know?
Or instead of me looking at it like, well, the pendulum is swung, so now it's my turn to have the power.
And unfortunately, that's part of it.
But even if I want to listen to what somebody's saying, but I want to listen to them so that I can see where they're at, almost what tone they're in or what frequency they're in. And if I'm literally in this frequency that I believe is the best frequency, you know, this God frequency, then that's gonna, if I can shift their frequency into that, that's gonna be even better. Because like I can get pulled into that frequency and like, I feel what you're saying, and now I'm like, I'm almost like a servant and a slave to that. Right. That's not good either. Like either one is not good.
No.
You know, but the right one is the one that expresses, because even frequency is an expression, affection, effect. It affects us, right? So it's the expression of how God feels. And when we tap into that, and that's why I was saying like the whole thing, like meditation and meditating on the word, meditating on the Bible, and really seeking him out in that, you know, from a heart place. Yeah. And the heart is how the emotion is the soul of a thing, the soul music, you know, when we're bringing out our soul for things, then that's the true nature of how we feel, our true expression, right? And it can be manipulated. So how can I express the expression of God? And as I continually seek that out in my household, it's going to affect the affections of my wife, of my family, my kids. And that's the thing that they're going to look at. You know, none of us are perfect. None of us are going to be tapped in all the time to that place. But I think it's the practice of it that takes away. We know now, okay, if we practice something, now you know the difference between something else. You know what I mean? That you've tapped into that used to do, but now you're realizing that's not good. And before you didn't even know it wasn't good because you didn't have a standard. Like a standard isn't, let me read these things. Okay, this is right. No, a standard is the frequency that I continue to tap into. So now it becomes a foundation. It has to be like, you read the Bible, but you have to, it's like text, right?
Yeah.
You read a text, but you have to know the expression behind the text. And those are the two things that have to come together. And I think a lot of religion happens because they just read the text and they don't understand the expression behind the text. And that has to do with frequency, if that makes sense to you guys.
Yeah.
So I think like that's the problem in a lot of households where people aren't responsible in that way, which they might not even know how to be, you know. But that's why it leads into like, because if you're saying like, you can't do this, you don't know why, that's text without expression. You know what I mean? And so now you're expressing anger because somebody ain't getting what you don't get.
Right.
You know, you're in the wrong frequency, you're in the wrong tone. So music in that sense, you know, plays, it's like the same type of thing. And then you can manipulate people in terms of like making somebody feel bad for something. It's the same, you know, manipulate them to move in the mode, the modal structure, the crescendo that you want them to move in.
Right.
You know.
Sarah McLaughlin.
Right.
Yep. J. Cope said, "What up, guys?"
What up, Copes? We're doing a whole stream about music and the influence of music and sound on people's psychological state. So we hope that did everybody get out did everybody say what they want to say?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like it's late now.
How late
lost
is
a
it?
lot of time.
Your mixing board is out.
No, we're good now.
I wanted to play that Biden
Yeah, I don't know. I guess
campaign
No.
thing. That was funny. It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's late.
We'll play it again.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody who stuck in there with us, and sorry about the stream technical difficulties. We will be back next week. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Go to the Patreon if you want to become a member. Chatan.com for music and merch, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Going